Season 8 of Love is Blind, one of the couples with the biggest connection and the best love story were Daniel and Taylor, where they seemingly had everything in common. From their love of Taco Bell and their love of Christmas to family and religion, it seemed like they already knew each other before ever coming on the show. And after Daniel proposed and the wall went up and Taylor saw him for the first time, she couldn't help but feel like she had already seen Daniel before, that he reminded her of someone. And in the back of her head, she had this inkling suspicion that Daniel had followed her on social media, on Instagram, prior to coming on Love is Blind.
I have this overwhelming feeling that when the doors opened last night, that was not the first time that he saw me.
She thought that he followed her, was able to see what she looked like, was able to see all the information in her bio, was able to see the highlights of the pictures she had, which would have let somebody know that she was a nurse and that she loved Christmas and that she loved fast food and that her religion's important to her, and all these pieces of the puzzle that she seemingly thought Daniel was this perfect match, this serendipitous match where everything seemed to click. And then she grew suspicious that it wasn't really serendipity and that he actually knew ahead of time, which would blow up the whole show. The entire notion of this show are people falling in love sight unseen, not knowing anything about each other, not knowing what they physically look like. And if there was someone who knew information about you prior and knew what you looked like, well, it would compromise the entire experiment. So Taylor decides that she's going to call out Daniel on this in one of the most tense moments of the season. She sits down with him face to face and flat out accuses him of following her on Instagram.
I'm pretty confident that you had followed me on Instagram not long before coming here.
Now, let me tell you something right now. If you're going to make that accusation, you better have the receipts. You better be right. Because otherwise, you look crazy and you look like an asshole. And on the other side of things, I'm pretty sure you would know whether or not this happened. And sure, people have a lot of activity on social media. It's a small city. You see friends of friends. You see a hot chick. Whatever may happen, you follow someone, you unfollow. It could happen, but I'm pretty sure you would know whether or not this occurred. And if someone accused me of, previously following them on social media and I knew it wasn't true, I would pretty emphatically be like, no, bitch, this never happened. What the fuck are you talking about? Now, Taylor's accusation makes you feel like she knows it 100%. And Daniel's reaction feels like he knew it 100%. I mean, that was not the reaction of an innocent man. That was not a guy who knew for a fact that he didn't follow her. Upon watching his reaction, I was like, oh, this bitch did it. This motherfucker followed her for sure. He pulled the old, there's a 99% chance I didn't do it, but there's a 1% shot that maybe I did. What the fuck is that about? And then Taylor has the audacity to be like, I've got an app. I've got an app that lets me see who followed and unfollowed me, which, first of all, red flag. Okay, obsessed with yourself much? You need to have an app to tell you who has stopped following you? For fucking what purpose? Anyway, when she grabs that phone, when the producer's willing to give her the phone, my man Daniel is sweating. It's like you're looking at a dead man walking. He's like, I am cooked. I'm dead to rights. She has got me. And she is defiantly like, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to look at it. Like, she's giving him one last chance to just come clean and be like, you're right. I followed you. I knew everything about you. I knew you're a fucking nurse who loves Taco Bell. And I played you the whole time. I was waiting for him to give a false confession. Because she sits there and she starts scrolling through it. First of all, looking like an absolute asshole that apparently hundreds and hundreds of people have unfollowed her. She must be terrible on Instagram. Only to realize nothing. Nada. Zip. Zero. Zilch. Daniel's name never in this list. At no point did he follow her or unfollow her. And Daniel, being the lovely little fella that he is like, it's all good. I'm just happy, you're happy now. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? This woman just completely concocted this story in her head. And not only just made it up, but pretty much convinced herself immediately that you were to blame and that you were in the wrong. And then was prepared to sit down with you face to face and embarrass you and call you out on it. And then when she got out her phone, like, last chance, and she just fucked herself. And you still are like, it's okay. Are you fucking nuts, man? This is one of the biggest of red flags. And I'm sure when you're in that show, your mind is spinning and there's all sorts of weird feelings and paranoia, and you have some like deja vu type feelings, and you look at someone and you're convinced you've known them, and you're thinking about a small city and all these connections. But to come up with that story, to down to a specific picture, there's a picture of you in front of a tree holding a drink at Christmas, and he's just like, no, there's fucking not. The fact that he wasn't like, what the fuck are you talking about? And are you clinically insane? Is nuts to me. I mean, that guy loves her. He is infatuated with her, because to take that beating, to take that abuse of her just being like, I know you're a creep. It's not even just like an accusation. It's an accusation that I'm like a weirdo creep deviant who is like capable of putting on this entire ruse to deceive you, and none of it's real. And I can't tell what's more ridiculous, her just concocting that or him acting guilty the whole time when it wasn't fucking real. They have like the technological digital evidence that this never occurred. And I think if you put him up on a lie detector test right now, he would maybe fail. I think he'd be like, I think I didn't follow you. I don't know. It's like, we know, we proved it. You said you have this fancy app. This is gonna tell you the truth, and it wasn't fucking true. And now what? And now she's so goddamn lucky that he is a nice enough guy to just let bygones be bygones. We all get crazy sometime and concoct completely fabricated situations about, me potentially stalking you on the internet months ago. It happens to the best of us, don't worry. I'm just happy that you feel better now. Fuck that. The only person who reacts as guilty as he was and then is just ready to, I'll just let this whole thing slide, is if there was something that happened. And I don't know whether that app didn't check him or maybe he has another account, but that man looked like he knew he was absolutely going to get nailed. He looked like dead man walking. I'm getting caught right now. That reaction is just not the reaction of a man who knows he's innocent. So I don't know what went on with that whole Instagram situation, but the fact that both parties were just willing to brush that under the rug says that she knows she looks like a psychopath, and he knows that he must have done something somewhat wrong on social media. Maybe he didn't follow her, but he liked her photos, or he replied or DM'd or something along those lines. Because it's not all necessarily just follow and unfollow. There could be more there where it's like there was activity on social media, or we did connect through something. Maybe it's on Instagram. Maybe it was a different app. Maybe it's a dating profile. Some way, somehow, that dude has for sure seen her before, because that reaction was a guy who was like, she got me. I'm fucked. And then him willing to be able to just let this go. Hey, we don't need to talk about the fact that you do not trust me at all, that you were accusatory and obnoxious about it. And then you were just like, sorry. That a guy willing to just let all that go, he either knows that, he got away with one, or my Lord, he is in love with you. I mean, they did have that beautiful Bueller moment in the middle of that whole shit show, where they both made the Bueller joke.
Is there Wi-Fi? Anybody? Bueller.
Now that right there, that might be enough for me to go, listen, it's true love, babe. We're finishing each other's sentences. We're making the same jokes. We're both just a couple of Midwestern, God-loving dorks. Who fucking cares if I followed you? Who cares if you're a psychopath who makes up situations in your head like this? Let's just get married and have babies, because, my God, we clearly have some sort of soulmate connection. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe I'm just cynical and jaded. Call me crazy. But if somebody comes to me accusing me of some shit that I never did, and then we prove it, and there's not an unbelievable amount of groveling and begging to be like, I'm so sorry that I thought that of you and treated you that way, that shit would be over. So we'll see what comes of it in the future. Maybe at the reunion, maybe as these episodes air, more comes to light. But this feels like it's not the last of the Instagram drama, because that man looked super guilty and that woman was very convinced. So if any sort of women's intuition and male guilt going on, that tells me that there is something there, but Daniel got away with one. And if not, my lord, he is one of the most understanding dudes of all time.